Right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to this special edition. We're sorry that Sherry and Jack can't be with us this evening because they're in Cancun. Good for them. They're having a wonderful time. And Rosalie can't be with us this evening either because she's off doing something really special. So you're lumbered with me, I'm afraid, to introduce you. I'm sure those people who've just been invited who aren't part of ASEA yet will have lots of questions at the end. Please get back to the person who invited you, and I'm sure they'll be able to fill you in on all the information that you need. So it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Mark DeBrincat, chiropractor extraordinaire, brain and spinal trauma specialist. And over to you, Dr. Mark, and we're all looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
All right. Well, thank you, Carol. I appreciate that. Welcome, everybody. It is always great to be here. I left the background here because this is the week of our ASEA conference in Cancun. Sherry and Jack, as she mentioned, are already there, and we will be heading out later this evening after the call. So we're very excited to be able to spend this time with all our ASEA family, everybody like you and me in the field that, we meet every year from all over the world. They come, and it's so exciting to be able to spend time with like-minded people. But even more importantly than that, it's spending time with the home office, with all the people that actually work for ASEA corporate, and to experience the ethos of these people and to get to know them and know how much they really do love what we do and the difference that they're making in the world. And it's just so exciting to be part of such a positive impact that we're all making in the world. And so Sherry and Jack went a couple days early with all the other diamonds that got to experience some other lectures and special events. And I just want to put a shout out to them because she sits here every week and always says, what a great chiropractor I am and lifts me up. But that girl is the one behind the scenes that really has the true heart of ASEA. You all know her and you know the hours that she spends supporting all of us. And I just am so grateful to have met her over 10 years ago now. One day she just walked in my office and she just moved into town. And I was adjusting her being a chiropractor, and we just started talking about all the cool technologies that I had there in the office. And she was familiar with almost all of them and had experiences. And so it was very refreshing to be able to have intellectual conversations about natural healing and how the body heals itself and for her to be already up to speed on so many things. And then when she asked me if I knew about redox signaling molecules, I remember thinking like, why don't I know about that? I mean, I teach continuing ed to doctors for decades, and I'm around all the latest and greatest things that come out that are impacting people's lives in the practice, and I hadn't heard of it. And the more I learned, obviously, I had a need. I was in a horrible car accident years prior, spent many years completely disabled, and really overcame all odds of recovery and got my abilities back that same year I finally found ASEA. And honestly, that's what's kept me out of my wheelchair all these years. It's given my body a second chance to go live an amazing life once again. And since then, we have paid it forward to so many people around the world. And it's so great because I can't physically be there and lay hands on people and do chiropractic on the world, but the impact that we're making by being able to help people help themselves regain that potential within inside. It's such an exciting journey. And every step of the way, Redox is right center stage of these amazing breakthroughs. I do specialize in brain trauma and brain health and prevention of cognitive diseases and conditions, as well as mood disorders and such. And so we're always inputting the body and then waiting for it to catch up. And it's been so exciting to have a tool like this that really just catapults us forward with whatever therapies we're doing to be able to give somebody more potential first, they're going to be able to receive more. So this month is our theme is all about gut health. And it's an amazing topic. Every last 3.5 years, every week, I have been teaching on a different topic on how the body heals itself and how it all begins at that cellular level and how redox molecules are uniquely a part of all of it. It's like the vowels of our alphabet. It's in every single word. So they're connected to everything. I always talked about redox molecules using the word innate intelligence. Like we release the power that's stepping on a nerve, and that innate intelligence takes over and can do more healing. But really, what I was saying is innate intelligence uses redox signaling molecules to send signals to let the other cells in our body know what's happening so we know how to heal and how to keep balance. So, we're going to talk about the gut over the next 4 weeks. And this evening, we're going to be talking about the microbiome in particular. And I just want to say that there's so many things that I could say about every one of these topics at a very high level. It's very exciting to have intellectual conversations about all of the functional processes that are happening within our gut. We're not going to go deep like that. We're going to keep it simple for you. I'm just going to keep help you appreciate and understand how amazing our bodies are made and the basic processes that we're going through within our gut. And I think once you understand a little bit more about what's happening, even in a simplistic way, you're going to take better care of yourself. It's all about self-preservation, right? Your body wants so bad to be the healthiest you could ever be, but lifestyle and environmental things, and there's certain things out of our control that keep challenging our system. So what you're going to learn soon is that the gut, it's all about the gut. The gut really reigns over every aspect of your health. And if you have poor gut health right from the beginning, there's no way we can help your brain get very much better than it is until we're addressing that gut. It's hard to ever lose weight and get your kidneys functioning, your blood sugar functioning, your heart functioning if your gut is out of balance. And we're going to see exactly why we can connect all those dots tonight as we get into gut health week 1. Let me go ahead and begin. So we're going to talk about the overall view of our gut health. So our gut and how it works is through bacteria, it's through our microbiome. Now, bacteria is everywhere. It's all on our skin, it's inside our body, it's inside our cells, it's outside our cells. We have different forms of bacteria, and it's basically keeping us alive. So the purpose of tonight is to basically help you understand how the gut is central to our overall health and wellness. And then we're going to give you an introduction how the gut is connected to our digestion, our immune system, our mental health, and our chronic diseases that are within our body. Now, fun fact about our gut, it is lined with all these little villi that you see in the top picture here. And these little villi have enough surface area to cover 2 tennis courts in space. So this is by far the largest part of our body that's constantly being exposed to our outside world. To put that into comparison, the surface of your skin's about 1.8 meters and compared to what the inside of our gut has the ability to cover. Now, keep in mind all these little villi there, the cells that make those, it's only one cell layer thick between our blood supply and what's in our gut. So our bacteria and our microbiome is actually helping us digest that food. And the little molecules that we can break our food down into are what settle into those little crevices in between the villi and actually get absorbed into the body. So you're not really what you eat, you're what you can break down, assimilate, and absorb. That's what matters the most. And so that one cell thick layer is very fragile. So, what is the gut microbiome? Well, by definition, it's just a community of bacteria, fungi, and viruses and other microbials that form an environment in our gut to basically help us deal with the stresses from the outside world. They're composed of bacteria, fungi, and viruses, and other microbes. And remember, bacteria and fungi have been here for hundreds of millions of years, long before any other animals or species were on the planet. And you know what? They're going to be what's here after we're all gone someday, too. It's the beginning of life and it's the end of life. Have you ever seen an animal decompose in the woods back to the dirt? And then new mushrooms and flowers and things grow out of the dirt. So it's every aspect of the life cycle. And bacteria and fungi in the ground, it's like our nervous system. The roots of all the trees are connected by fungi, and it allows them to communicate and talk to each other, even like species miles away underground. They can connect and actually communicate and feed each other things if needed. There's an actual movie called Fantastic Fungi on Netflix, I believe, that will rock your world when you really truly see the environment of bacterias and fungi on our planet. Now, when we talk about what are they doing, why do we have this? Well, it's to digest fiber. We can make short chain fatty acids. Out of that's energy for our cells. It's going to protect us from the pathogens that we're being exposed to. They're going to help fight the battle right there and eliminate them in their tracks. They're also going to train your immune system how to regulate itself to the threats and the things that are coming in. And it's going to have a major influence on our brain chemistry. For example, serotonin and dopamine, these are the two most abundant neurotransmitters in our body that make us feel good and make us happy. Well, the majority of all those neurotransmitters are produced in the gut. And so if your gut's not happy, it's hard to have all the happy neurotransmitters from what's just being produced in the brain. And so our gut, again, plays a much greater role in all of our mood disorders and our metabolic processes throughout our body. When it's not healthy, we're not healthy. So let's talk about overall health of our gut, okay? It's very vital in helping us with digestion and getting the nutrients from our food so that we can make energy. That's a huge part. And these microbials, they're going to help balance everything for us. When we look at the immune function, well, 70% of all your immune system is controlled by your gut. The lymphatic system behind your small intestines is what's signaling for all immunity. And if it has to look at the intestines and all it sees is stress and inflammation all the time, what it's doing is it's telling the genes come out fighting. When they're making new cells, come out fighting as we have to defend ourselves at all costs. This is creating all sorts of health issues throughout our body. So function is huge to help our cells distinguish good bacteria from bad bacteria, from bad cells. Then we have inflammation and chronic disease. Something called dysbiosis is the term for an imbalanced flora in the gut, and that's linked to obesity, which is linked to type 2 diabetes, inflammatory bowel disease, and even heart disease can all come from not having healthy gut flora. And then, of course, we have that gut brain connection. Your vagus nerve is connecting those two, and they influence the release of neurotransmitters. Just like I said, they're going to be able to produce neurotransmitters because of what the brain's saying. Now, next week, we're going to go into that gut brain axis and talk in greater depth about the importance of brain health relating to our gut. So we have this flora in our gut. It's covering all those little villi that we have literally two tennis courts worth of surface area to absorb our nutrients in. Well, that flora is very dynamic and it's constantly changing. In fact, every 3 days, you have an entire new microbiome. And so it's 100% dependent on what you're eating, like what you're putting into your mouth and some of the things that you're doing. So when we have diet, if we're eating real food that like grew from the ground or ran on the ground or swam, so fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, meats, These all give us a ton of healthy microbials to actually build an amazing, very resilient gut. Okay, now processed foods and sugar, it is going to promote a fast imbalance of the gut. Like you would expect, if you put garbage in, you get garbage out. And so the flora is a direct reflection to what are you feeding it, is what it basically what it boils down to. Medications that people take can have a very disruptive effect on the flora and take away its diversity. You want to have multiple different strands of these microbials, not just a couple and a whole bunch of them. You want to have um, a diverse colony of many different strands. That's going to give you better resilience and better immune function. Now, lifestyle definitely plays a role, how stressed you are and how you manage stress, whether you're sleeping, whether you're exercising, all these things can help stimulate and help the flora, or it could hurt the flora if you're not doing it well. And then, of course, we have our redox balance. Okay, the redox is the neutralization of oxidative stress and allowing it to stop degenerating things so quickly, like rusting. It stops rust from happening. Okay, so those redox balances and really help distribute the cells of the microbiome to be able to communicate and talk to each other so that they can build up strength, they can help repair and increase the balance of good bacteria in the gut to be able to maintain healthy digestion and all of that. So redox plays a huge role in not allowing that bacteria to shift from good to bad. It's what gives us the resilience to keep the charge and keep the healthy types of bacteria that keep replacing. Now, certain linings of the inside of your gut are replaced every few hours. And deeper into that is every about 3 days. In a few weeks, you have an entire new colon. So these cells are constantly replacing themselves that are our cells, but the bacteria, it's within the outside of our body that's connected by a tube from outside to outside. And so that's where we have all of this surface area. And these bacteria literally outnumber our human cells 10 to 1. And so you say, well, we're just barely human then. And this is true. However, the bacterial cells are much smaller. So if you took all the fungi and bacteria and viruses that are in our body and contain them, they would only fill up about a half a gallon container. So that's 10 times as many cells as our 100 trillion cells that we have. Another fun fact. So the role of redox molecules in our cell is basically to neutralize, communicate and be able to neutralize oxidative stress. So the mitochondria inside each cell that makes energy for you is going to produce more of an oxygen species or more of a nitrogen species, depending on what the imbalance is. Is it positively charged molecules or negatively charged molecules? Whenever there's a buildup of either, that causes imbalances, and then our healthy functions stop working well. And so that's the natural process. The influence that they're going to have on our microbials, they're going to allow them to communicate so they can actually know what's going on. Imagine an army on the ground infiltrating. They don't have walkie-talkies and they can't talk to each other. How much difficult more is it to defend themselves? It's about keeping that balance of good bacteria in the gut and signaling where the bad bacteria is so we can destroy those pathogens. And then, of course, repair and inflammation control. That is right at the heart of where redox is. It begins by repairing the cell that it's in, and then it starts signaling other cells to prevent oxidation or inflammation. So you think of the analogy like you're in a very busy city, and the redox molecules are the traffic lights. Without them, we create all sorts of chaos and accidents um, and the accidents and the chaos is inflammation and disease that occurs within our cells. And so our redox is so crucial for us to be able to signal properly so things flow properly, much like that traffic light. Now, it all boils down to, what does our gut look like? Is it healthy bacteria or do we have unhealthy bacteria? Okay, the healthy bacteria is going to be amazing. It's going to help not just your gut function consistently and thrive, it's going to allow your entire nervous system to thrive. It's going to help your moods and your focus abilities, your energy abilities. It's truly amazing. And the bad bacteria, oh, it can live off of nothing like sugar and sodas. It can allow you to um, think you're creating energy, but really you're not. So when we have healthy bacteria, we're getting it from real food, like I mentioned, and that makes energy for our metabolism, which results in more energy and improved conversation and being able to focus on things. Our immune system is quicker to respond and more resilient. And then the redox signaling potential is going to be super high. So you're going to have a full charge in your cell phone batteries, okay, is what that basically means. So, and it's balanced. When your redox chemistry is balanced, like a battery, you have to have the positive and the negative molecules on both sides of that battery, and then when they touch each other, it creates all sorts of energy. So we will have to have a balance in these molecules. When you have an imbalance, that's oxidative stress. If it stays there for too long, it turns into inflammation. So when bacteria thrive, we're our healthiest, hands down. So the other side of the equation is all processed food that you're eating, it's going to actually promote an unhealthy gut. Enriched flours, refined sugars, ionized salt, foods that have pesticides and fungicides and genetically modified foods, all of these can have pathogenic bacteria. It can put the body into survival mode. And when it's in survival mode, it's going to break down as much as it can from this food, which is pretty empty calories. So they're not going to get a lot of nutrients anyway. But what it does get, it's going to store it as fat because you can live longer off your fat than you can just by consuming more energy right now. So it's going to start to be very conservative because it thinks you're at war and it doesn't know how much food you're going to be able to get. So this is going to be very beneficial for your bad bacteria. They can grow in any stressful environment, in a very acidic environment where oxygen just isn't there. Okay. And so when that happens, it's like weeds that just grow out of the cracks of the sidewalk. It's like, where did that come from? It can just find its way through. So we want to be able to prevent that from happening because when you have bad bacteria, you struggle with energy all day. You struggle with digestion and maybe go back and forth from loose bowels to constipation. And all of the effort that you're doing to digest food is a lot more keeps being stored as fat. So when your redox potential is very low, those cells can't fight back. And so the bad cells get fueled and they basically take over. So it really does matter what you eat. They'll occasionally challenge the system. It's no big deal. But if it's 80% like the right image and 20% to the left, that 20% is never going to be enough to turn the biome. Okay, it's not about how you're feeling right now after you eat that meal. It's the stage you're setting to be in a state of inflammation all the time for the next several days. So there are ways of shifting. You can slowly start making the better habits, and over time, every 3 days you got a new biome. So you could over time shift everything back to the good side. You could do a fast. We'll talk another episode in the future about fasting and how redox can help with that whole fasting process, but that would be the fastest way within 5 days to completely reset it, and then you're going to turn it back on the other side. So it is pretty exciting when you finally learn and appreciate how important it is. And so many people think, well, I eat that food and it doesn't make me have any symptoms. And that might be true, like you don't feel nauseous or you don't feel sick, but it doesn't mean that it's not causing havoc on your gut and turning that biome and taking away your vitality. So, how do we supplement this? Well, we're going to eat more foods of the right kind. We're going to eat fermented foods. This is like sauerkraut and things that are going to help your body really get those prebiotics. The food that feeds the good bacteria is what the prebiotics are. stay in regular movement, stay active. If you're sedentary, you're not waking up your bacteria and telling it to be doing things. And so you want to stay active. You want to manage your stress well. Don't let yourself get worked up on things till you get all the facts. That usually helps. And then really focus on getting good quality sleep. If you're doing those three things, you're going to have fewer disruptions in your whole gut signaling process, which really is controlling everything in your body. Your cells are having little cell phone antennas, like our little 5 bars in your cell phone. It's literally sending signals to the bacteria in your gut, which are considered the cell phone tower, to get a weather report of what's going on. Your body is so dependent on being guided by instructions from our bacteria to be able to thrive and be the healthiest we can be. And we wouldn't be healthy without it. It really does make that difference. And then there's supplements that we can now take that have redox signaling molecules to be able to give our body what it's already making, but it needs more of to get this system in your gut to flip, okay, or to keep inflammation down. So you'll learn there's so many reasons why we love redox because it really is at the root of where the body starts healing, and that's within the cell, making these molecules to power the cells and energize them. And so ASEA is the only company in the world that learned how to stabilize these high energy molecules. We're talking like oxygen and hydrogen. These are evaporate in seconds. And so they've been able through that process, 7 patents and 7,000 trade secrets, recreate what comes out of every cell of your body already. Problem is with age, we don't have as many of those, and we're aging so fast, we can't keep up. Well, now we can. This is like this anti-aging, and it always begins in the gut. To stop the aging process, we got to stop inflammation. And to stop inflammation, we need a good, healthy gut. Okay. That's the instructions. That's where it begins. And that's ASEA Redox. Now, ASEA also has a product called Biome. And the Biome, it contains the probiotics, the prebiotics, which are the food to feed the probiotics, and then an herbal support for maximum gut health. So it's a very broad range of ingredients. They have over 16 different probiotic strands. That's like 16 different colonies of different types of bacteria, and then 3 different prebiotic strands. And so this is giving us one of the most diverse spectrums of these molecules or these probiotics that we have on the market. It's wonderful. And so we also have um, this herbal support in there. So it's really just like a 3-in-1 gut health formula. So this is something that's healthy to take every single day to constantly keep your gut on the good side of the fence. And then, of course, drinking the redox molecules fuels all that bacteria so that they can signal and be as healthy as they can be. So it all boils down to the first step of a better version of you is it begins in your gut. And this is something that we can all do so easily. It's just take the redox, take the probiotics, and allow your body to start repairing and replenishing those healthy biomes throughout your body. These are the molecules that literally drive the function of every cell of your body. And it's the only company in the world that you'll ever find this. So I've been so blessed to have these redox molecules. They're messengers, they're activators. They allow us to be the best version of ourselves. So the takeaway from that, you know, redox molecules are essential for keeping our microbiome balanced. Okay. Without having a balanced microbiome, it's going to create a cascading effect of everything else in your body. It's going to help us be more resilient and help our microbiome communicate more efficiently. It's also when redox signaling is strong, hey, we're healthy and our microbiome thrives. And when our biome is not healthy, guess what? We're going to have all sorts of illnesses in your body. Everything relating to chronic inflammation, which turns on, unfortunately, a bunch of autoimmune disorders. Now, I will say that I use some condition names when we were talking earlier about how the body manages and deals with a poor biome and obesity and some mood disorders and such. But um, um, We are not in any way trying to say that we can diagnose, treat, and cure any condition or diseases in the body. We are talking structure function of how your body becomes ill and the things that can cause it to not function well, and then how we help turn your function of your cells back on. How we can help give you potential and allow your healing to begin to new heights and levels that you haven't had before. That's what it's all about. We heal ourselves from the cellular level on if we can. Certainly, there's a time and a place, and we love all the healers out there and all the doctors and all the tools that we all have to be able to help bring you guys back to homeostasis and keep you well. And so this was week one. We're going to let you tune in next week when we talk about the gut brain axis and how so much of your brain function is going to depend on the health of your gut. So thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, get back to the person that turned you on to this call and let them know that you're interested in finding out more information on how this could actually impact yourself. Now, it doesn't matter what condition you have, a cell is a cell. It doesn't matter if it's a kidney cell, a liver cell, a tendon cell, a bone cell. All the cells need power and they need to be able to communicate. And that's exactly what we are offering here as a way to help increase that potential and allow your body to communicate better and really bring out the best version of all of you. So that's it for today. We are off to Cancun and we look forward to seeing you next week and telling you all the new exciting things that they are about to release for us. So until then, everybody have a great night and we'll see you later. Now, we do repeat this call tonight in about 4 hours for those of you that have somebody else that you would like to share this call with. Oh, I'm sorry. I should have probably taken off that screen share. So, um, please share this with anybody. We have an amazing library of 3.5 years of episodes from covering all spectrums of human health and cellular function, tissues, organs, conditions. It's a wonderful assortment of information for all of you to be able to get the most out of your health and the health of your family.
Well, thank
All
you
right,
again, Dr.
everybody.
Mark. Appreciate your time again.
You're welcome. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.